love me. Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.
Hi guys, how's it going? Thank you so much for 1,000 views. And without further ado, let's get into our new Python tutorial. Okay, here I have everything set up. I have my calculator.py up and running in this text editor. I'm going to be using VS Code, and we're just going to begin with printing. So we're going to do a calculator obviously, and we're just going to begin with printing. So we're just going to print, oh, spelled that wrong. We're just going to print, hello, this is my calculator. Okay. I'm not that good at typing calculator. Okay, so after we finish typing that in, let's just add the next little exclamation mark. We are going to now get on with the actual code. So we're going to do question 1, and then we're going to use the float, because we could use integer, but then we couldn't do decimals. So we're going to use float. So we're going to do float input, and then in this input we're going to write what is your first number. Okay, now that we finished doing that, we're going to do our operation, or for here we're just going to do O. And now O is going to be input what is your operation. Now you're probably wondering, why didn't I do a float? Well, you'll see in just a little bit, it's all going to explain itself, but for now just copy this. So don't write float there, or you're going to get a bunch of errors when we finish running the code. Then we're just going to do question 2, float again, and then we're going to do input what is your second number. Okay, so now that we've got all of these variables finished, we're going to start our if statement. So we're going to do if our operation, or O, is this is a multiplication sign for Python. So before we get into all of this, let's just write print signs are this for multiplication. Here we're just going to write multiplication, and subtraction is this, subtraction, and division is this, so this is division, and last but not least, addition is going to be that. Some people use different symbols, so we're just going to specify that. Okay, so our multiplication, then we're just going to add a colon, and then we're going to do if O equal the multiplication sign, colon, then we're going to do cal, which stands for calculation in this circumstance, Q1, multiplication sign, Q2, and then we're just going to print this variable. There we go, we just printed cal. And now we're going to go back to this if statement, and then we're going to do else. And this is giving us a second possibility. If operation equals, and this time we're going to do the addition sign. And then we're going to do colon. and then we're going to do cal equals q1 plus q2, and then we're just going to print. Then we're just going to print cal again. There we go. And we're just going to keep continuing to do this. So yeah, so now here's the most important part. You don't want to go back and write else. If you do that, then it's not going to work. See, that's squiggly red lines. What you want to do is you want to write else under the if statement like we did here, but instead this time the if statement is over here. So we're going to do else, and now see, it won't show up an error message. And here we're going to do else if equals division sign, then we're going to do cal equals q1 q2, and then just print cal. And finally, last but not least, we're going to do our subtraction if, oops, semicolon, don't make that mistake, if equals subtraction, then we're going to do cal equals q1 subtract q2, then we're just going to print cal. Now let's just run this code. So I'm going to get back to you as soon as we're going to run this code. Okay, so as you can see, I have all that I needed to print right here. So I have hello, this is my calculator, signs are multiplication, subtraction, that sign for division, that sign for addition. So I'm just going to write in my first number. Then I'm going to do my operation. Let's do subtraction, and just to check my decimals are working, let's do 0.4. And as you can see, our code ends right there, which is why we're going to go back to our script and we're going to implement a while loop. So print that down a few back, then we're just going to cut all of this, and then we're just going to write here while true, and then we can just do that. Don't know why I didn't cut properly. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Don't know why it's doing that. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Okay, so now it should work. I've got if O equals addition, do that. If O equals, and as you can see, I don't know where my multiplication went, but we can just implement it really easily. Else if O equals multiplication, print, oh wait, I have to change my cal, cal equals q1 multiplied by q2, and then we can just print cal. Don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to sharpen up. Yeah, that wasn't what I meant to do. Okay. Oops. Okay. Don't know why I keep doing this. Okay, let's just go back. Okay, everything works now. Now this should run all of our code and repeatedly run it. So I've just saved it. Let's go back to where I found where my file is. Okay, so what is your first number? 1, subtraction 0.4, and as you can see, it writes 0.6 down and gives me another like this. It's just gonna loop through this, all of this. So let's just test out every single one. What's your first number? 2. I'm gonna divide it by, let's do 0.1, and there we go, I get 20. Let's do a multiplication this time. Let's do 3, and then we're gonna multiply it. Let's multiply it by 4, and for some reason it didn't come up with the answer for multiplication, and that's because I forgot to write print cal. Okay, so let's run that piece of code again, but this time saving everything, and let's just continue with what we were doing before. We get 12, and finally so we did division. I don't think we did subtraction. If we did, then can't hurt to do another one. Let's just do a really random number, and this is what we get. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna come with a second Python tutorial next lesson, and hopefully it's good. Bye.